I believe we are live. Give you guys a couple of seconds to get into the chat. Oh, man, ready for the second stream of the day. It has been a long day, man. I am tired. Alright, let me know that you guys are in the chat. You guys can hear me, and then we'll get started. Ooh, what a day, what a day. What up, Casey? First one in. All right, people are getting in. Let's get this started. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitz TV here, aka G133. I am back here tonight with another episode of the Legit Shoot podcast. Here with your Monday Night Raw review and results for May 17th, 2021. Hopefully, you guys are doing well, staying safe and healthy. This is actually the second episode of the podcast for today. If you guys were here earlier in the day, I did the WrestleMania Backlash review and results because I couldn't do one Sunday night. So we streamed this afternoon and we ended right as Raw was going on the air. And now here we are just a couple hours later, back ready to go at it again. And I am excited, not because this was a good show or anything, right? It's just, it feels good to stream right after the show. I don't like, I love streaming. You guys know that. I just don't like streaming too late after a show has already happened. Even though you guys show support to every single video, no matter when I post it, it could be right after the show, 24 hours. It could be 2 days. I've done SmackDown reviews 2 days after the show has taken place, and you guys still come out and show support, man. But I'd rather just get a review done right after the show when I have time, and then, be able know that it's up and be able to go and get other things done, But, we are going to be talking about Monday Night Raw, but just want to let you guys know, if you guys missed the stream earlier today, the Monday Night Raw, or not the Monday Night Raw, the WrestleMania Backlash review is live on the channel. So you guys missed it. It was a pretty good one, especially I went off about Bianca Belair because I'm sick and tired of the whole Bianca narrative. Because, I realized after posting that review, it reminds me too much of Alexa Bliss. When Alexa Bliss was the goddess of WWE, right? When she was being stuffed down our throats as Raw Women's Champion and she wasn't really doing much, anytime, me or back when I had my co-host Anthony, anytime that we would criticize Alexa Bliss, we would get attacked from Alexa Bliss stands. And it's like Alexa's supposed to be immune to criticism. You could say the same thing about Charlotte. Anytime you come after Charlotte, people get very uptight about it. And now it seems like that's the case now with Bianca Belair. It's like everyone's want to use the excuse, oh, Bianca's early in her reign, this and that. But people, they don't want, if you say one thing about Bianca, you get canceled or something like that. It's, and you guys know me, I'm outspoken. I'm going to say what's on my mind. I'm going to say what I believe is the truth. You can disagree with me all you want. We can have a conversation about it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to just say how I feel and how I see things. It is what it is. So, we talked a lot about Bianca Belair on today's WrestleMania Backlash review. Like, for a good, maybe close to 30 minutes I went off about that. So, make sure to check that out. Let me know in the comment section what you guys thought and all of that good stuff. But we're going to focus on Raw tonight. And what can I say about Raw? I can see the chat's filling up pretty quickly. Whew. The chat's filled up very, very quickly. Look, this is what I'll say. The first thing I'll say about Raw tonight. I enjoyed most of the in-ring action. Notice the difference there. I didn't say I enjoyed the show, but I enjoyed the in-ring action. There was a lot of good matches tonight. Asuka versus Charlotte. As much as I hate giving Charlotte credit for anything, because I think she's overrated as hell, Charlotte versus Asuka tonight was a really enjoyable match. Ricochet versus Sheamus. Oh, wasn't that a feud that yours truly pitched for the United States Championship? That was an enjoyable match. Kofi Kingston is back in the main event scene, or at least it seems like he could be being set up for a future WWE Championship match against Bobby Lashley, who also said that Kofi Kingston should be in the main event scene against Bobby Lashley. I think I've been saying that the last couple weeks since Bobby Lashley became the WWE Champion. I enjoy that. Hell, AJ Styles and Elias had a decent match for the most part tonight. You know? So there were some decent matches on tonight's show. Was the show good for, not really. But it was better than what we usually get. I'll be honest, it was better than what we usually get. There's still a lot. There is so much that Monday Night Raw has to fix. But the fact that we got some pretty decent matches didn't really bother me. It didn't bother me. We didn't get much in terms of, where we're going to Hell in a Cell, because that is the next pay-per-view. There was nothing announced for the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view tonight. But I can start to see where potentially some matches could be formed, and we're going to talk about that on the podcast tonight as always. And I'll get into my opening shoot in just a second, but I just want to remind you guys, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that big red button down below. Also, hit the bell right next to my name, Fitz TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Also, guys, check out the WrestleMania Backlash review. I already said so, but just another reminder, if you guys haven't checked that out, it was a really good review. 2 hours of great podcast content. All right. Also, thank you to everyone who live tuning me as always. If you guys want to talk to me about wrestling, anime, all that good stuff, right? Just follow me down on social media. The links are in the description down below. All right. But let's talk about it. So what, you guys may be wondering, what is my opening shoot tonight? Well, I feel like I have to remind you guys of how good Kofi Kingston is, right? So Bobby Lashley had a open challenge tonight for the WWE Championship, or so we thought. Last minute, WWE baited and switched it, and MVP said it's not an open challenge for the WWE title, But I'll talk about that a little bit later. I want to mainly focus on Kofi Kingston, because immediately I was talking to my boy Anthony. You guys know Anthony. He was the former co-host of this podcast with me. And, eventually, who knows? Maybe one day he'll return as my co-host. You never know that. You never know. But I feel like people have already forgotten how good Kofi Kingston is and why he deserves to be in the main event. We know Kofi, he is, in my opinion, he'll be a Hall of Famer. He's won almost every title. He's an 11-time tag team championship with the New Day. He's won the IC title. He's won the United States title. And he's a former WWE champion. And that's the big one. Former WWE champion. A couple weeks ago, me and my boy Paul, we rewatched Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston from WrestleMania 35. And I feel like anybody that's seen that show would agree that that is easily the best thing on that WrestleMania by far. I don't care. The main event with Becky, Ronda, and Charlotte is an overrated garbage match. It's not a good match, right? Sasha and Bianca blow that match away when we're talking about the best women's main event in WrestleMania history. Sasha and Bianca blows that match away by miles. But Kofi and Daniel Bryan, even though it took place in the middle of the card, that's what we all remember. And we all know main event Kofi, WrestleMania, WrestleMania Kofi. I forget the Kofi Mania. That's what it was called. We all remember how great that was, even though it was never planned. It happened because of what happened with Mustafa Ali. But the thing about it is, I feel like people forget how good Kofi's championship reign was, right? It was 2019, and the last good WWE Championship reign, in my opinion, that came before that, you had Daniel Bryan, who had defeated AJ Styles, who had also held that title for over a year. And people were like, what kind of champion is Kofi going to be? Kofi, in my opinion, was a great WWE champion. The big problem with his reign was that he was connected to the New Day, but he wasn't connected to the New Day, if that makes sense. The New Day, they were doing their Xavier and Biggie, I believe they became tag team champions during that time, but Kofi mainly did most of the stuff by himself. My main problem with Kofi during that time was that he was still throwing pancakes. He would actually have pancakes inside, when he had the WWE title around his waist, he would have pancakes in there ready to throw out to the fans when he made his entrance. That was the main thing that people didn't like. because Kofi was still acting like a goofball when he was holding the most prestigious WWE, the most prestigious title in the whole company. But the thing about it is, Kofi knew when to get serious. That was really the only bad thing you could say about Kofi's reign, outside of how it ended. You know, the pancake part. You know, because Kofi, if you look at who he feuded with, right? He beat Daniel Bryan. He feuded with Dolph Ziggler. He feuded with Samoa Joe. He feuded with Randy Orton. I believe he feuded also with Kevin Owens. And I remember all those feuds because they were great matches. Kofi was having one of the best matches, if not the best matches, at every single pay-per-view during his reign, right? And when he was on the mic, he was serious. When he was having a segment with Samoa Joe or Randy Orton, he took it seriously, and you could feel the intensity he would bring. And then he would also deliver in the ring. He had everything. He had everything that you needed from a WWE champion, outside of the fact that he acted a little bit too much like a goofball when he was throwing pancakes and doing the whole New Day stick. But outside of that, Kofi was a great WWE champion. Great WWE champion. Because I remember his entire reign. The big thing that pisses me off is how that championship reign ended. The first SmackDown on Fox, I believe it was in October, he gets beat by Brock Lesnar in less than like 15 seconds, right? And I was actually excited for that match because I was like, all right, Kofi's had great matches with legends like Randy Orton, great matches with Samoa Joe and Ziggler and KO, right? I'm just like, okay, if Brock Lesnar treats this seriously, this could actually be a really good match, even though we all knew Brock was most likely going to win. But they disrespected Kofi by having him beat in less than 15 seconds. 15 seconds. And I was like, after everything that Kofi did for that entire year, especially, remember, he held that WWE Championship for 6 months, half a year, right? After the great reign that he was given, how are you going to disrespect him like that? Especially as a man of color. That pissed me off even more. You have a great African-American WWE champion, and that's how you're going to do him? I don't care if it's Brock Lesnar. You could have made the match 5 minutes, if anything, right? But the fact that you had him beat like that pisses me off. And then Kofi went right back to the tag team scene, and that's where he's been for basically the last 2 years. But I've always been stated, for anybody that's been listening to this podcast for any duration of time, I have always stated that Kofi deserves to be in the main event scene. I said it when Bobby Lashley won the WWE Championship. I would love to see a Bobby Lashley Kofi Kingston feud. And here we are. I'm not saying WWE, somebody from WWE is listening to this podcast. If they did, they're making a good decision. Because I think I know what I'm talking about most of the time, right? But the fact that Kofi Kingston is back in the main event scene, that's where he should be. That's where this should be. As iconic a tag team the New Day is, and they're going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. Kofi may get inducted into the Hall of Fame twice. He may get inducted once as a member of the New Day and once by himself for his singles career, right? As good as the New Day is, we've seen them win the tag team titles 11 times, or 11, 12 times. I've always stated that Kofi deserves to be in the main event scene. And the fact that he's back there now, even if it's for this short duration of time with Bobby Lashley, I think is fantastic. We can complain all we want about how WWE baited us with the, advertising, a Bobby Lashley WWE Championship Open Challenge. We can complain about that all we want. But we also got to remember here that Bobby Lashley is a heel at the end of the day. As great as he is as a WWE champion, and as ferocious as he is as the Almighty, he's a heel at the end of the day. That's what MVP is. He's a heel manager. And the thing about it is, if this leads to an actual feud with Kofi and Bobby Lashley, I'm all for it. Because I think Kofi and Bobby Lashley can give us a 20 to 25 minute banger of a match. Kofi's proven it to us. Bobby's proven it to us. And I want to see this feud. I would have mentioned it on the podcast if I didn't want to see it. I wouldn't be talking about it as the opening shoot tonight if I didn't believe it. I would love to see Kofi become WWE champion again. I'm not saying he needs to defeat Bobby Lashley for that to happen, right? Because I want my Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar dream match. Let me be clear. But Kofi being in the main event scene should be a thing. People complain that Kofi doesn't belong there. You need to go back and rewatch SmackDown from 2019. Go see what this guy did as WWE champion. It was actually a really, really good reign. Strip the New Day from him, yes. You know, he doesn't need to be throwing pancakes. He doesn't need Xavier Woods at ringside doing the trombone thing. He doesn't need that. I agree. He does not need that. But Kofi Kingston is a main event player. And if you don't believe that, then I think you got a couple screws loose. I really, truly think that. All right? So I just wanted to talk a little bit and remind you guys about how good Kofi Kingston actually is. Let me look in the chat real quick, because I see a lot of people talking. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. What up, Royd Nation? Fact, I see Paul. I know Paul's a really big fan of Kofi. Like we love Kofi over here, man. Millennial says probably a way for Lashley to get as many successful title defenses before SummerSlam. Maybe. But the thing about it is, you don't have to sell me on the fact that Bobby Lashley's a monster. We know how good Bobby Lashley is. I'm more happy that, you know, that Kofi's just in the title scene. That's what I'm more happy about. This is more about Kofi to me than Bobby Lashley, if anything. Let me look. Casey says Kofi's characters should have been more of a serious character when he was WWE champion. Yes, you can. I guess you could say that, but if you look back at the feuds he had during his reign, he was pretty serious. Like, go back and look at those feuds. Go back and look at those promos. You know, I remember a segment where they actually recreated. If you guys remember, there was a segment they did with Randy Orton when they recreated the famous scene from 2009. One of my favorite Kofi Kingston moments when he beat down Randy Orton inside Madison Square Garden. He did like a boom drop from the top of one of the segments of the one of the section bars of the arena on the Randy Orton who was on an announce table. I remember that moment. That should have been the moment where Kofi became a main event star, but you know, we all know his push got stopped by Randy Orton, and they recreated that segment back in 2019. I remember it. Kofi knew when to get serious as WWE champion. It's just that you can't have him always doing the whole pancake thing with the New Day. That's the thing. Rachel, you said was just told by a source that this match between Lashley and Kingston was pitched by MVP as a tribute to Sad Gaspard, who passed away 1 year ago today. I didn't even know that. If that is true, then shout out to MVP. And hopefully this leads to an actual full-blown feud between these two. Hopefully. Rest in peace, Sad Gaspard. I know, like, I remember when we talked about that a year ago, for those of you guys who were here. Very, very sad. I can't believe it's already been a year that, you know, he passed away, man. Time goes by way too quick. Yes, NBA YouTube, I agree with you. Kofi's title reign was better than Seth. Remember, Kofi and Seth won world titles on the same night. Seth beat Brock to start off WrestleMania 35, and Kofi beat Daniel Bryan in what I believe was the true main event of WrestleMania 35. You know, great. You know, it was great stuff. And Seth's reign as Universal Champion, he had a great match with AJ Styles at Money in the Bank, right? He had that great match with Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. I think he had a good match with Braun Strowman too. I think it was like Clash of Champions, if I believe. But you know, if we're being honest, Seth spent half his reign feuding with freaking Lacey Evans and Baron Corbin. I was like, what the hell? WWE was so addicted with, you know, by showcasing Becky and Seth's relationship on TV that it hurt both of their reigns at the same time. Especially, you know, the thing that ruined Seth's reign, we all know, was what happened with The Fiend at Hell in a Cell. We all know any chance for Seth's reign to recover was dead once Hell in a Cell happened. Casey says there was a ton of rewrites for Raw tonight. Wouldn't be surprised. Like, how many times does Vince arrive at the arena and just rip up the script? Look, I didn't hate this show tonight. I didn't hate it, but I'm not gonna sit here and say it was good. There was a lot of good in-ring action, and that's about it. Anthony says Kofi as champ would be a joke if he stays with this corny gimmick. Correct. Kofi, if you're going to make him a WWE champion again, you got to distance him a little more from the New Day. I'm not saying fully do it. Just look at Big E on SmackDown. That's the perfect way to do it. Big E on SmackDown is the perfect mixture of seriousness and comedy. That's what you got to do with Kofi. You know, because Big E's still part of the New Day, even though they're on separate brands, right? But you don't see Big E always doing the cringe stuff he used to do with the New Day, doing the gyrating. I think that would be the perfect thing to do with Kofi if you plan to have him back in the main event scene. Yeah, let's not compare The Rock to Kofi Kingston, guys. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. You guys got on me for comparing Sasha Banks to Shawn Michaels, right? Like, don't compare Kofi Kingston and The Rock. Let's not do that. But yeah, the whole point is, if you're gonna make Kofi WWE champion again, if he's gonna truly be the main event scene, he has to be more like the way Big E's presented on SmackDown. That's what I think needs to happen. Paul, you are correct. Becky getting hit with the end of days was the... I don't know. I'll give Becky tons of credit. Becky sold that perfectly. She sold that end of days perfectly. Does Kofi need a new theme song? Maybe. I wouldn't even be mad if Kofi brought back his old theme song. I love his old theme song. SOS. You do. But if you had Kofi, if Kofi brought back his old theme song, you would probably have him. You would probably need to have him speak Jamaican again. So that would be hilarious. But either way, we'll talk about Kofi Kingston a little bit more because Kofi was on multiple segments tonight on Raw. But yeah, I think the big thing here is if you're gonna have Kofi back in the main event scene, he needs to be presented a little more seriously. Not doing that Rotten Tomatoes garbage. Not over here with the pancakes, right? That's what I would do. Excuse me. So basically, Raw opened up tonight with Bobby Lashley coming to the ring, flanked by 5 beautiful women. MVP welcomed him and played a clip of his win from Sunday. MVP claimed Strowman and McIntyre were unable to attend the show due to their injuries. Lashley gave him permission to issue an open challenge, but before he could get the words out, McIntyre's music hit and he marched to the ring. McIntyre accepted the challenge, but MVP said he and Strowman were exempt from the open challenge, especially because of what happened last night, which made sense. Lashley took a swing, but McIntyre ducked and sent him out of the ring. So, okay, I know a lot of you guys are unhappy about WWE baiting us, right, with an open challenge, because all night, everyone on Twitter was talking about, who was going to answer Lashley's open challenge. And all night, superstars were cutting promos, like Damien Priest. You had Mason T-Bar. Everybody backstage was, talking about considering accepting the open challenge and taking a chance of becoming WWE champion. If I'm being honest, me personally, I thought, this was going to be when we see Keith Lee return. Because you guys know, I've been saying, Kofi Kingston, Keith Lee, right? Especially me being a man of color. I would love to see those two challenge Bobby Lashley. There are so many feuds that you could do with Bobby Lashley as WWE champion, especially if we're trying to build him up for that dream match with Brock Lesnar. Especially now with things opening back up slowly, people getting vaccinated and everything, WWE getting back to touring. It seems like only a matter of time. If WWE's going to be back on the road here in the next couple months, I'm telling you, Lesnar's going to be back by the end of the summer. All WWE has to do, all Vince has to do is call up Brock and give him a couple million, and he'll be back just like that. Just like that. Well, like, Lesnar's not doing anything right now. He's hunting in Minnesota, doing his own little thing. Like, we know that Lesnar's going to come back. He always does. Always does. Right? That would be perfect. So I thought, Keith Lee, the reports have said that Keith Lee's ready to come back. He's just waiting for WWE to give him something to do. All right. What's the perfect thing to have Keith Lee return in a big way? Have him answer an open challenge against Bobby Lashley. Remember the great WWE title match that him and McIntyre had at the beginning of the year? I think it was on Raw Legends Night. This would be perfect. I know we've seen Lashley and Keith Lee before I think it was a United States Championship match, right? And that match never really, got up to a hard start. But I believe that was just, a bad day for both of those men. I feel like Keith Lee and Bobby Lashley can put on a banger of a match. So I thought it was going to be Keith Lee. Anthony, my boy, kept texting me and saying Jinder Mahal, right? Jinder fucking Mahal, man. And everyone was mentioning how Jinder had not appeared on the show at all. So everyone thought it was going to be Jinder. So everyone, was throwing out their names. And we could be mad that WWE baited and switched us. But like I said, I'm not as mad about it, right? I know there's a lot of people that are angry about it, but I am not more. Maybe because I'm such a big Kofi Kingston fan, right? Maybe because I'm just happy to see Kofi back in the main event scene. Maybe that's why I'm not as angry as everybody else. Because when Kofi first came out to answer the open challenge, right, I was like, this should be a pay-per-view feud. I really believe Kofi and Lashley can be a really good feud if you have Kofi being serious and not, acting like his New Day self. I really thought that. So I didn't get as mad, right? But, I can definitely see why people are angry. But you got to remember here, Bobby and MVP, they're not baby faces. They're heels. Even though I know sometimes Bobby may act like a tweener, but at heart, he's a heel. So, you think Bobby was just going to willingly put his WWE Championship on the line? Right? Just no. I just don't like it from a writing perspective because it also makes WWE look kind of desperate that they're trying to get ratings. That's what it is. Because you wait till the end of the show, you talk about it all night, and you just have Kofi Kingston come out in a match that's not even for the title. So I can understand people being angry about that. I understand your frustration. So, yeah, I just wanted to mention that, really quickly. But we also got to remember here, especially with McIntyre being involved in both segments, I think it's clear that this is either we're going to get Kofi and Lashley before Hell in a Cell, and then Drew and Bobby at Hell in a Cell inside the actual cell, or we're going to get Kofi and Lashley at Hell in a Cell. And then McIntyre will just stay on the back end for now. But I feel like it's more likely that we'll probably get Kofi and Lashley before Hell in a Cell, and then we may get McIntyre and Lashley inside Hell in a Cell at the actual show. But we'll just have to wait and see. Right. But I didn't hate this segment to open the show. It didn't really do anything to me. I kind of knew McIntyre was going to come out because why wouldn't he? Right. I was surprised Strowman didn't come out, but remember, Strowman was the one that got pinned. I also want to mention tonight, a lot of people talking about, and we'll talk about this a lot more when we get to Charlotte here in a couple seconds. People over here mentioning that if you don't get pinned in a triple threat match, you don't lose the match. That is the most idiotic shit I've ever heard. If you get pinned in a triple threat match, you lose. Even if you don't get pinned in a triple threat match, you lose. If Bobby Lashley had gotten pinned by Braun Strowman or Drew McIntyre last night at Backlash, he loses the WWE title. If Strowman or McIntyre had pinned each other and they win the WWE Championship, Lashley still loses his title. You don't get anything just because you didn't get pinned. You're still just as much as a loser than the guy who gets pinned. So let's not act idiotic here. I didn't like how they brought that up with not only the women tonight, but they were mentioning that also with McIntyre's situation. If you didn't win the title, you lost the match, whether you were the one that got pinned or not. Simple. It's a triple threat match. Everybody has the same odds. You don't get anything just for not being pinned in a triple threat or a multi-man match. That was stupid. Stupid. All right? And I feel like this is just mainly because they keep doing these triple threat matches because they want to recreate the magic of the Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, and Edge match that we just saw from WrestleMania. And even though the triple threat match last night with the WWE title on the line was really good, right? They gotta stop with it. They gotta chill. They're overdoing it now with the triple threat matches. A loss is a loss. Simple. Simple as that. All right. What up, Stimpy? Well, Stimpy, I gotta be honest, man. Stimpy, Keith Lee, I would love to see Keith Lee get back his old music, but I have no problem with Keith Lee's music now. Right? I just want Keith Lee to be a beast again. Paul goes like, I got a question for you. Matter of fact, I got a problem. Ain't you supposed to be Jamaican? What happened to your accent? I remember that DX segment. Love that. All right. So moving on. We had Elias versus AJ Styles next up on the show. I don't really know why this match was booked, because if you guys remember last week, Elias and AJ were on the same team in an 8-man tag team match. I don't know if they're turning AJ and Almas into a babyface team. I'm not against it. I love AJ Styles heel or babyface. He's one of my favorites in the company. But it just seems a little bit odd. That's all. A little bit odd to me personally. But this was not a bad match. Like I said, there was a lot of good in-ring action tonight. This was not terrible. So AJ went after AJ, or Elias went after AJ, right? As soon as the bell rang, but AJ got some offense in. So then we come back from break. Styles was in control, and he hit a springboard forearm to the ring, or from the ring to the floor. Then Elias was in the driver's seat after he hit a huge back body drop. Elias countered a Styles clap and hit a spinning suplex for a close 2 count. I will say this about Elias, and he has gotten better in the ring. I mean, he's not like on the level as one of the best on the show, but Elias has improved. He has improved. I remember last year, I was complaining a lot that Elias was very generic in the ring, but he has shown me that he has improved. He does a beautiful, beautiful looking elbow drop. He has some power moves, you know? So he's not just a guy that plays guitar. He's not that awful in the ring as people think he is. So, he looked really good. Well, AJ Styles, if you're in the ring with AJ Styles, of course you're going to look good. It's almost impossible to look bad when you're in a match with AJ Styles. But either way, you know, Elias hit a spinning suplex. Riker yanked Styles out of the apron after he went for the phenomenal forearm. This caused a DQ. Almas went after Riker, but he left AJ, who was still winded, behind, and Elias threw Styles into the steel steps. So clearly, it looks like they're setting up Elias and Riker to be challengers for the tag team titles, and I don't have a problem with that. I'm saying, like, you know, at least now Raw's tag team division has a decent amount of teams. I'm not saying the division is good, but you have a decent amount of teams. I've been saying Elias and Riker, you know, I have no problem with them being contenders in the tag team division for the Raw tag team titles. I don't. You need teams. You need teams, especially when you seem to break one up every other month, you know? So I don't have a problem with them contending for the tag titles, right? I'm more concerned about Almas, if anything. I want to see improvement from Almas. We know how good AJ is, right? I'm concerned. It's still early in AJ and Almas' reign, but I'm concerned that they rely too much on how good AJ is and having AJ carry the load and Almas just be there as the big heavy guy, right? There for backup. Who gives them, that great advantage, right? AJ does the in-ring work and, Almas is the muscle, right? But we'll see where this goes, right? I don't see this as a tag title match at the next pay-per-view, but maybe it could be something good on a pre-show. I don't mind it. I'm not sitting here, losing my mind over it. Saying I'm excited for it, but you need feuds like this to continue the tag team division. So I'm not against it. I'm not against it. We'll see where it goes. It's just whatever to me. You know, I don't expect them to drop the titles to AJ, to Elias and Riker. I don't. It's just whatever. That's the simple way for me to put it. It's whatever. All right. Next up. Paul says, why does Elias get the wrestle? He's not good. Elias is not as bad as people think he is. He's not like the best in the world or anything like that, but he's not terrible. When you put him in the ring with the right guy, he can give you a decent match. Yes, Roy Nace, I do agree. The team that should probably take those titles off of AJ and Almas is RK Bro. Even though we know that Randy Orton and Riddle, we know that they're not going to be a team forever. But, you know, definitely, I feel like Orton and Riddle need to be the ones who eventually take those titles from AJ and Almas. You know, even if that's a month from now, 2 months from now. But still, I think that would be the direction that they should go in. Excuse me. Next up, we had Angel Garza versus Drew Gulak, right? So we've seen this match before. Remember a couple weeks ago, Garza took a rose and stuffed it in Gulak's tights. So Gulak took control right away with an abdominal stretch. Garza quickly turned things around for himself. Gulak tried to fight back for a huge right hand from Garza. So then Garza hit a backbreaker and a running kick to the face. Then he hit the wing clipper for the win. You know, so I'm just happy that Gulak and Garza are on TV. You know, yes, this is a repetitive. We've seen it before, but I'm just more happy that they're on TV than anything. I don't remember. Did Gulak or not? Did Garza put like the rose in Gulak's like mouth? I'm not sure. I wasn't paying attention all the way to that, but you know, I just want to know: did Garza put the rose in Gulak's mask or Gulak's mouth before? Someone tell me. Someone let me know. You guys forget? So let me just check WWE's YouTube page. I was hoping somebody would answer. But let me look real quick. Just because it's bothering me.
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help. This sentence is
Let me just check the WWE's YouTube page real quick.
But it's wordy.
Yep, he did. So Garza takes the rose, snaps it in half, and stuffs it in Gulak's mouth. Alright, I don't mind. Maybe Gulak will eventually get payback from Garza. We'll see. Or get payback on Garza, but it is what it is. It's whatever. Right? You know, I'm just happy that they're getting, you know, some TV time. Really, because WWE has too much talent. Like I always say, they have way too much talent, and especially in that mid-card division, to not use them all. So next up, R-Truth was backstage. He thought he was watching his back because he thought you know, people were gonna come after him for an open challenge for the 24/7 title, even though basically every second that Truth holds that title, it's an open challenge because the 24/7 title can be defended at any time, anywhere. Even though we know it's a joke title, nobody cares about it. But one of the backstage guy came and told Truth that it was not him who had an open challenge, but it was Bobby Lashley. So Truth felt relieved, but then he got pinned by Akira Tozawa to lose the 24/7 title once again. Whatever. We'll just have to see what unique way Truth regains that title back next week or whatever. But so I don't know why this 24/7 title is even really a thing. There's no care for it. Nobody cares about the 24/7 title. I'm just mentioning it because it's in my notes. That's all. So next up, there was a backstage altercation between Matt Riddle and Orton and the New Day. So basically, Riddle had manipulated both the New Day and Orton in the meeting backstage to try to convince Randy Orton to apologize to New Day for RKOing both Woods and Kofi after their 8-man tag team match last week. Right? But Orton says, why would I apologize for something I'm not sorry for? Right? And Kofi brought up the history between him and Orton, and say, if you're not gonna apologize, we can just settle this in the ring like we always do. And that led to the match between Kofi and Orton. And remember, this would be the first of 2 times we would see Kofi in the ring tonight, because of course we saw him answer Bobby Lashley's open challenge. So basically they started with a basic lockup and headlock, whatever. Orton took Kingston down, but there was a little botch here where Kingston was supposed to do a leapfrog, and then he accidentally hit Orton in the face with his hip. Orton then maintained the upper hand and didn't really do most of his heel tactics. This was just, good wrestling for the most part, So then Woods then distracted Orton with his trombone so Kingston could roll him up for the surprise win. So I get it. I know a lot of you guys are kind of over the whole Xavier Woods trombone thing. The New Day's been really doing the same gimmick now for about, 6 years? And I don't have a problem with the New Day. You guys know I love the New Day. I love Kofi Kingston, right? But I can definitely understand people being a little bit frustrated with the New Day doing the same thing that they've been doing now for who knows how many years now. But to me, it doesn't bother me as much as it bothers other people. That's just me personally, right? But it was surprised that Kofi got the win. I guess this was the setup for what we would see Kingston do later in the night with Bobby Lashley. So then Orton, was fuming, and it looked like he was going to try to attack the New Day again afterwards, after the match, but Riddle kept him from doing so. And then Orton left the ring. That kept from getting any more angry, which was kind of surprising. But all of a sudden, Riddle shoved Woods, and Riddle followed Orton to the back. So I was a little confused on what they were trying to do here. Right? This is not a heel turn or anything like that. Honestly, it seems, for me personally, it seems impossible to see Matt Riddle ever be a heel. I don't know if Matt Riddle being a heel doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But Riddle, I feel like here they're just trying to develop more chemistry here with Riddle and Orton. Because eventually these two are probably going to end up being Raw Tag Team Champions, and then eventually Orton will turn on Riddle, and then we'll get, some kind of big match between these two down the line. We're not there right now, but clearly that's where we see the story going. So I guess this is supposed to be to help the unity between Orton and Riddle, right? Then they see a match between Riddle and Xavier Woods next week. It's just, I guess this is more just Riddle having Randy Orton's back. Because Xavier just, distracted Orton. He didn't interfere in the match. He just played his trombone like he always does. Being his normal, annoying self at ringside. That's all it was. So, we'll see where this goes. I continue to enjoy the RKO Bro, or the RK Bro gimmick. Still waiting for that RK Bro merch. But anyway, I'm enjoying them as a team. I truly am. They're entertaining. Riddle, I remember Orton was coming to the ring. Matt Riddle was right there with the scooter, and all you see is Riddle singing Orton's theme song and doing his entrance with him, right? When Orton does his normal, his pose, you have Riddle on the bottom rope doing the pose as well, which was enjoyable, man. It's entertaining to me, it's entertaining to me. But I enjoyed this for the most part. I did. I'm excited to see how far it keeps going, and eventually to see if they do, push the trigger with Riddle and Orton becoming Raw Tag Team Champions. And I do agree with you, Roy Nason. Just a little bit more time. Malik asks, what if Eva Marie? Huh? What if Eva Marie has Angel Garza as a manager? Who gives a shit? I hate to be rude, but you honestly think about that? Who gives a crap about Eva Marie? Until Eva Marie shows me that she can wrestle, right? And she's not going to be anything more than a diva in 2021. I don't care about Eva Marie at all. They showed these video packages of Eva Marie every single week and how the evolution is coming to Monday Night Raw. Who gives a shit? We should be more worried about if Eva Marie can add any value to the Raw Women's division than Eva Marie being Angel Garza's manager or whatever you pitched. That's a terrible idea, man. I'm sorry, but I'm just going to be honest. I don't care about that. I don't. Eva Marie became Angel Garza's manager? I still don't care. What, didn't we? What? I don't care about female superstars being someone's manager. You want to do that? Have Charlotte be... Charlotte, you know, the only time I actually wanted to see someone be another person's manager is when I wanted Charlotte to be Andrade's manager. That's what I wanted. Because I don't care about Charlotte in the ring. If you want to put her in a manager role, fine. But no, man, come on. I don't care about Eva Marie. I don't care if she's Angel Garza's manager. I don't care if Angel Garza is her manager, right? Let's just worry about if Eva Marie can actually wrestle and add something to the Raw Women's division. Because right now, that division is only revolving around 3 people. Charlotte the Robot, Asuka, and Rhea Ripley. Like, come on, I don't care. I like Angel Garza, man. You'll be hurting Angel Garza more by putting Eva Marie with him. Come on. Come on. No, like, do you actually think about that? Like, what? I'm kind of... What made that cross your mind? Don't believe, like, what? Eva Marie? I can't believe I spent 2 minutes talking about that. What the hell? Anyway. Moving on. We had Natalya and Tamina versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I'm going to play a promo here.
And, I actually...
Because Natalya and Tamina won the Women's Tag Team Championships on SmackDown last week. And, you know, it was a big moment. Tamina's first ever title victory, right? Her first ever title victory. And I read a report today that the reason why, you know, they won the titles is because WWE got the idea based off the reaction that Tamina and Natalya got at WrestleMania. And I know that reaction, right? I feel like it more came from people not caring about Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax than people caring about Natalya and Tamina, because I don't have any care for them. Sure, I'm happy for Tamina, right? She's been with the company for a long time, but she's never been impressive to me. She's never done anything. I can't tell you anything that Tamina has ever done that I've actually enjoyed in the ring. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just being honest. I can say the same thing about Natalya. Like, I just don't have any care for Natalya and Tamina. It doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't. It feels more like it's just a waste of my time. But I find it to be a waste of my time, really, to think about it. You know, I feel like people were so sick and tired of Nia and Shayna, because it was the same thing. They were just running through Lana and Naomi, Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke every single week. The Riot Squad ran into the same 3 teams every single week. People were just like, I'm tired of it. Let's just get the tag titles on somebody else. I feel like that was the reason why they got the reaction. Tamina and Natalya, they're just a whatever team. I have no care for them. They won the titles, good for them. Let's see if they do anything with them. Right? Like, I just don't care. I don't care. But I'm going to play a promo from them from Talking Smack. Because you guys remember on the SmackDown review I did last week, they talked about, Tamina actually cut a decent promo where she showed a lot of passion and intensity in preparation for their match against Nia Jax and Tamina. So they were on Talking Smack again after their title victory. So I'm going to play it because I haven't heard it. I just see it here, you know, in the notes. So let me just play it real quick. It also kind of gives myself a breather because, you know, talking on here, it can tire out the voice. So let me play the promo. Here we go.
Something on social media about this. special to acknowledge that the two of you are veterans in the locker room. You're locker room leaders. You guys have seen it all over the last decade for you both. So speaking from that perspective, again, from seeing so much over the last 10 years, that's got to make it even more rewarding for you. Tamina, first women's championship gold since you arrived in WWE over a decade ago.
Yes. First and foremost, I have to thank Natalya. Thank you for believing in me. And thank you for taking my side. And respecting me in that way to know that we could actually make this come true. Second, I need to thank my family, my kids, for giving me the opportunity and sharing your mom with the rest of the WWE universe. You don't know how much that means to me that you shared that moment right here. Thank you to my dad for showing me what this place is. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It helps you live your dreams, and it helps you become something that you want to be. Thank you, WWE Universe, for sharing this moment with me and Natalya. Thank you to the people who work behind the scenes that make this happen. I cannot thank you all enough, because what it means to me in here, I absolutely love every single one of you all. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you out there in all of TV Wonderland. Thank you so much for everything that we just did and accomplished. It's an achievement that I can't.
That's getting emotional.
Even put it to words. Thank you all.
Clearly very emotional, and I think we're emotional. We have a lot of people behind the cameras right now. Everyone is emotional watching you guys obtain this goal today. But taking a little bit of a turn, though, before we let you go celebrate, what do you want to say to the women in the locker room who now have your targets on your back? What do you have to say to those who are coming after those titles now?
These championships, they are a passport. They're not just gold, they are a passport to every single corner of this company. From NXT to Raw to SmackDown, NXT UK, they allow us a passport to represent the women's division. And so we are putting every Raw to SmackDown, NXT UK.
Well, NXT UK, is that possible? Doesn't NXT have their own tag team titles now? Like, I believe Candice LeRae and what's her name? Indy Hartwell. They're the NXT Tag Team Champions. Even though I never agreed with the woman getting tag team titles in NXT, right? I just felt like they should have just used the main roster champions a little bit more in NXT. But it's whatever. It's whatever if you ask me. It's, So I don't know if Natalya, you're informed enough, but I don't think those titles are getting defended in NXT UK or even NXT anytime soon. I can see probably the NXT titles, the NXT tag team titles for the women, they could probably get defended in NXT UK. But I feel like the the women's tag team titles can only be used on Raw and SmackDown, if I'm right. Just saying.
They allow us a passport to represent the women's division. And so we are putting everyone on notice. Everyone. Everyone from the Riot Squad to Lana and Naomi to Mandy and Dana Brooke. And you know what? If Nia and Shayna want to come play with us again, we'll be more than happy to entertain them.
All right, thank you to our new women's tag team champions, Tamina and Natalya.
Look. Whatever. I'm happy for Tamina, happy for Natalya. I just wish I cared about them more as performers. That's the best way I can put it. I just wish I cared more about them as performers. You know, I don't care about them much. They've never been, I've never been invested into them. So that's what I'll say. I'm happy for them, Tamina. You could see the intensity and the passion in that promo, right? We'll see what they do as tag team champions. And that started tonight. So before they had a rematch with Nia and Shayna. I don't know why anybody would want to see a rematch between these two teams. We've seen this match already at WrestleMania. We saw this match last week on SmackDown, and here we are getting this match again, right? Like I said, I don't know why anybody would want to see this match for a third time, but we got the match. And beforehand, Natalya and Tamina were on Alexa's playground. So I guess this is basically the new version of A Moment of Bliss and the Firefly Funhouse, because Alexa had the Firefly Funhouse music with a little bit of a remix over it. Like I said, you guys know Bray Wyatt, he's going through a lot right now behind the scenes, so, prayers up to Bray Wyatt. Hope everything goes well with him, because outside of WWE, he has a lot going on, and we don't know what's going to happen with, the whole Fiend thing. But right now, he has to get, he has other things to sort through. But basically, remember Alexa back when she was the goddess, he had a moment of bliss. Now that she's kind of taking this Fiend character, or whatever you want to call it, I guess this is the new moment of bliss, right? So now it's being called Alexa's Playground. And I like the aesthetic of it. I like the look of it. But I will say this, enough is enough. In terms of Alexa Bliss needs to get in the ring. Every week she's talking about Lily has her eyes on somebody, and we see her appear on the stage, right? She did interfere in the women's tag team title match tonight, but it's time for Alexa to get into the ring. I said I would have no problem if Alexa was built up to be the Raw Women's Champion, because I like the gimmick, but it's getting to the point now where I'm getting annoyed because every week it's more of the same. Alexa talking about Lily, and Alexa's great on the mic, but like I said, the time for talk is over. Like Cena said to The Rock, the time for talk is over. The people want to see a match, right? I want to see Alexa in the ring. That's what I want. I want to see what wacky stuff she can do in the ring. So let's get to it. Let's get her in the ring. Let's get her in the ring, please. It shouldn't be that difficult. It should not be that difficult. Okay? Like, if you want to have her start slow and slowly build herself up through the Raw Women's division and eventually get to the Raw Women's Championship, fine, whatever. But enough is enough. There's only so many promos I can take till I get annoyed. But it was kind of a funny interaction because Tamina was standing there, and that every time Alexa would say something, she would just look at Alexa, then look back at Natalya, then look back at Alexa like, what the fuck am I doing here? So a lot of people can probably relate to the way Tamina was feeling, like what the fuck is this shit? What are we doing here, right? But Natalya tried to just be professional and be like, hold up. But like I said, Natalya was trying to stay professional and not really, fall into, whatever Alexa was doing here. She was like, Tamina, calm down. Let's get through this interview and then move on and get ready for our match. So then Alexa kept asking like weird question after weird question, like what's your favorite color? What it felt like to, hurt Reginald, all these other things. And then eventually Tamina and Tamina and Natalya, they left, right? So then we get the actual match. This match didn't mean anything. The match was like 2-3 minutes of just pure nonsense, right? So Natalya took down Jax with a discus clothesline, and then Tamina got brought in. Jax body slammed her cousin and climbed to the top rope. Tamina nailed her with a super click to knock her to the floor. Then Alexa appeared on the stage and set up some flames that blinded Reginald, who was getting distracted. And the distracted allowed Natalya and Tamina to get the win and retain the women's tag team titles. So Shayna Baszler loses again. I don't know why. I don't know why Shayna Baszler is not a single star and we're not building Shayna up to face Rhea Ripley. Like I said, I sit here and I complain about Rhea Ripley and how she's not the person she was in NXT. Remember, Rhea's best moment came when she defeated, what's her name? When she defeated Shayna Baszler. I remember watching that match at work. I was in the office. We have a big screen TV in our security office. And I remember sitting and watching that match and how great it was. It was one of the last great moments before we went into the pandemic. And seeing Rhea beat Baszler on that NXT and celebrate in the crowd, man. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. And we can relive that now. You know, if you just build up Shayna Baszler, right? You can turn Rhea Ripley full babyface, and we can relive that. That could be a match for SummerSlam if WWE truly wanted to. You can honestly do Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler for the Raw Women's Championship at SummerSlam if you treated Shayna Baszler more seriously. And if you've worked on fixing Rhea's character. That could be a legit steal. That could steal the show. That could be a show stealer at SummerSlam if they wanted to do that. It just pisses me off, man, that WWE has money matches on the table that they refuse to take advantage of. You have Shayna Baszler getting beat just because of fire. How many times has Shayna Baszler been beat in the last 2 months? Just for dumbass reasons. No matter if it's like 2 minutes on SmackDown, 2 minutes on Raw, distraction this, distraction that. Like, I don't care about Nia Jax. It's Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler's the one that's suffering over here. You have dumbass Reginald, being put into focus. Right? Things happening because of Reginald. Who cares about Reginald? You have Nia Jax checking on Reginald at ringside while Shayna Baszler gets pinned again. We all know Shayna Baszler should not even be in this worthless tag team division and should be fighting for the Raw Women's Championship. It's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here, man? So Tamina and Natalya, they get the win. We'll see what's next. This should end the feud for now, right? I have no interest in seeing these two teams face each other again. Let's see if WWE has any plans to actually book some kind of story here for Natalya and Tamina. I doubt it, but I'm always willing to, at least give them a shot to prove me wrong. But yeah, what I would do if I was WWE, I would have Shayna Baszler put back as a singles competitor. Who cares about Natalya? I'm not Natalya. Who cares about Nia Jax? I would build Shayna Baszler up to be a contender for the Raw Women's title. That simple. Paul says, Asuka, bury Rhea, please. Dang, and that's a good stat, Casey. Casey says, Alexa Bliss has not wrestled since Fastlane against Randy Orton. That's a good stat. Even I didn't know that. All right, but hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Anyway, back to it. We had Sheamus versus Ricochet, and remember, Sheamus versus Ricochet. That match took place on the Backlash pre-show, and the storyline going into this basically was that Sheamus had his coat and his hat stolen from him after the match. So Sheamus was very heated. He came down to the ring very quickly. He grabbed the mic and demanded that Ricochet return the hat and coat that he stole from him. Then Ricochet got interviewed backstage before the match, and Ricochet indeed revealed that he stole the hat and coat. He started wearing it, and, he took it out to the ring and, danced with it. Sheamus tried to attack him in the aisleway, but Ricochet tripped him, and then, Ricochet got into the ring, and then the match began. This may have been the best part of the show, if I'm being 100% honest with you. We got two really good matches tonight. Asuka and Charlotte. And you guys know it's hard for me to give Charlotte any credit, but Ricochet and Sheamus. This was fantastic. This is what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about, people. This is how you fix your mid-card division. You have talent upon talent upon talent. All you have to have them do is go out there, be themselves, and wrestle. That's all you need them to do to make the mid-card division important. You have talent upon talent upon talent. Guys like Drew Gulak, Angel Garza, Ricochet, Mansoor, Humberto Carrillo, Sheamus. The list goes on and on and on. And Sheamus is the perfect guy for the job. Perfect heel to go against all these baby faces, man. I love it. I love it. This was done perfectly. This match was fantastic. It makes me wish that Ricochet and Sheamus actually took place on the pay-per-view card last night. It would have made Backlash that much better of a show. This was a great match on TV. I've been saying Ricochet should be built back up. You have Ricochet sitting there and catering, performing on main event here and there when you know how good he is. Mustafa Ali, I want to see him against Sheamus when he comes back. I want to see Damien Priest versus Sheamus eventually. In my opinion, Damien Priest should be the guy to take the United States title from Sheamus at the end of the day. Eventually, I would do that at SummerSlam. I would have Priest win the United States title against Sheamus. Sheamus is that good, and we know how good Ricochet is in the ring. This was a very enjoyable match. So Sheamus caught Ricochet about halfway through after Ricochet tried to fly over the top rope, and then he threw him into the timekeeper's area. Sheamus was still in control when we came back from break. Ricochet hopped on the top turnbuckle. He hit Sheamus with a beautiful-looking Spanish fly for a close 2 count. Sheamus blocked a moonsault with his knees and rode up Ricochet for the near fall. A huge forearm from the top rope to the floor took the United States champion down. Ricochet put him back in and hit another beautiful move, a amazing looking springboard 450 for another close 2 count. Then Sheamus hit a huge knee strike after Ricochet flew off the top rope. Ricochet showed, you guys know how great Ricochet is at selling. But Sheamus couldn't get the pin. Then Sheamus got mad, and eventually Ricochet didn't really have much after getting hit with the knee strike. So Sheamus was able to hit the bro kick pretty easily for the pin and what I saw as a great match. So let's be honest. The reason why this match took place was dumb, because this was only happening because Ricochet stole a coat and hat from Sheamus. But the match itself was spectacular. This was probably the best thing on the show outside of the Asuka and Charlotte match, which we'll talk about in just a sec. This is why you use the talent you have. You have them running away backstage when they could be out there giving you matches like this each and every single week. Sheamus is great. Me and my boy Anthony were talking about this. I've said it before. Sheamus deserves one more world title run. He has been one of the best things in the entire company since he came back. What was it? I believe it was during the pandemic, the beginning of the pandemic last year. I think he came back and he feuded with Jeff Hardy, right? Sheamus has been great. And WWE rewarded him for his hard work by giving him the U.S. Championship. But I personally believe that Sheamus deserves to be in the world title picture again. He does. I would give Sheamus one more world title run before all is said and done. Sheamus, if he retired tomorrow, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a former world champion. He's won United States championships. He's done a lot. He's been King of the Ring, Royal Rumble winner. He's definitely a Hall of Fame guy. He's going to be there one day. But I think with the level of work that Sheamus is doing right now, he would make a great world champion one more time. A great world champion. And honestly, I wouldn't mind turning Sheamus into a babyface. He's been a heel. He's a great heel, but he can also play a very good babyface as well. So honestly, when Sheamus does lose that United States Championship, I would build him up. And honestly, I don't know. It's going to depend. Bobby Lashley, if we do get that dream match with Brock Lesnar later in the year, right, I would have Bobby Lashley beat Brock Lesnar because Lesnar doesn't need the title anymore. I think Lesnar's at that stage where you should only use Lesnar there to enhance other superstars and make them into bigger stars by having him put them over, right? And maybe, I don't know, if you have Sheamus drop the title to somebody like, I don't know, Damien Priest, you can put Sheamus back in the world title picture. I wouldn't mind if Sheamus was built up to be the guy to take the WWE title from Bobby Lashley. I feel like Sheamus would be the perfect guy to fulfill that role. Perfect guy. You know? I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but you guys get the point I'm trying to make. I definitely think with the level of work Sheamus has put in, right, he's elevating the mid-card right now. He's elevating. He's making Humberto look good. He made Mansoor look good. He made Ricochet look good. He's elevating the mid-card division perfectly right now. And I definitely think Sheamus should be put in the world title picture when he eventually drops the United States Championship. I definitely think that, right? So let me know what you guys think about that, all right? But this was a great match. We'll see if it leads to anything more between these two down the line. But this was great. Definitely, I love this. I will say this, though. I don't know. What do you guys think of also Ricochet? I don't know. What do you guys think of Ricochet wrestling in black pants? He wrestled in black pants last night at WrestleMania Backlash. But it looks he was back in the same look tonight. So I don't know if that's Ricochet's new look. I know some people are complaining about this, but I'm going to be honest. The black pants don't look terrible on him. They don't. I do miss his old attire. I'm going to say that. Yes, I do miss his old look. But this look is not horrific on him. It's not. It's not as bad as Aleister Black wearing an eye patch. I'll say that. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys hate Ricochet's new look? I don't hate it as much as I originally saw it. You know, but hopefully Ricochet actually stays on television and he doesn't go back to catering. Ricochet's too good. He's way too good for you just to let him rot away in catering. He really is way too good. Next up, we had Asuka versus Charlotte Flair. Right, so basically, Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. Sonya was wearing a nice little pink suit tonight, man. Sonya goes all out with these looks. But you had Naomi and Lana and Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. They were asking why do Nia and Shayna get a automatic rematch clause, you know, for the tag team titles, right? And we know that there's not even supposed to be rematch clauses. Like, that, there's no such thing as that anymore. WWE just books rematches just because. Just like they just go, like, yeah, we're just going to book a random rematch clause here because why the hell not, right? But, so Charlotte comes in and I was like, oh, shit, here we go, right? So the other tag teams leave the room and Charlotte demands a singles match against Rhea Ripley for the Raw Women's Championship. You know, and, you know, I already complained about it earlier. Charlotte's like, I wasn't pinned in that match. And I hate that shit. If you didn't win the match, you're a loser. Charlotte didn't get pinned by Rhea Ripley last night, but she was still a part of the match. She didn't walk out the Raw Women's Championship. So Rhea Ripley won. Asuka and Charlotte are both losers. It's that simple. There's nothing else to talk about, right? There's nothing else to talk about. So Charlotte is asking for a Raw Women's Championship opportunity. Sonya tells Charlotte, if you want an opportunity, go out and beat Asuka. So it's almost like they're telling you whoever wins this match tonight will be the one to face Rhea Ripley next. And I'm just like, they're going to have... I thought Charlotte was automatically going to win this match because I'm thinking, you know, next pay-per-view, it's going to be Charlotte and Rhea Ripley one-on-one. That's where this is leading towards, right? Charlotte beating Rhea Ripley in a one-on-one match. Because Charlotte just keeps going on and on about how she's going to be the 13-time champion. And it's just the same old garbage from the motherboard. CPU. So, Charlotte's like, fine, I've beaten Asuka before. I should be able to beat her again. Rhea comes in and she starts, hailing insults at Charlotte. And then Rhea also said she was looking for some fresh competition because she's tired of Charlotte and she doesn't care about her at all. She means nothing. So then I was like, okay, at least Rhea has some confidence about her. So I'm like, Rhea's looking a little bit better. a little bit better. This is still not the Rhea from NXT that I love, but still, she's at least looking just a tad bit better these last couple weeks. So we get the match itself, and like I said, this was great. This Asuka and Charlotte match was great, and I hate giving Charlotte credit. I think she's overrated as hell, but I wouldn't be doing my job as a podcaster if I wasn't being objective. This was fantastic. The last time Asuka and Charlotte were in the ring, the main event Raw a couple weeks ago before Backlash, it was awful. We got that terrible ending with Charlotte nailing the referees and then getting herself suspended and fined, even though it only lasted a week, right? But this was great. This reminded me a lot of their WrestleMania 34 encounter. Even though Charlotte should have never won that match, still, this was fantastic. You had Rhea Ripley watching at ringside, man. There was one commercial break, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this. Asuka came out of the gate hot. Then Charlotte nailed her with an elbow to the face. Asuka hit a hip attack from the floor to the apron for a quick 2 count. Then after Rhea came out, she sat next to the commentators. We come back from break to see Charlotte keeping Asuka down with a headlock. Then Asuka started fighting back with some forearms and kick. Rhea laughed as she watched Asuka take Charlotte down for a couple of near falls. They traded control several times before Rhea ended up taking a big boot from Charlotte on the apron, right? Because Charlotte and Asuka are brawling on the outside. Rhea got in Charlotte's face, and then Charlotte was like, "I'm taking your championship, right? That's gonna be mine sooner rather than later." Rhea stood there confident, which I actually like. You know, she sat there and just kept talking shit, which reminded me a little bit of the Rhea from NXT. You know, so then after Charlotte hit Rhea with a boot on the apron, Asuka was able to get the win with the roll up. Anthony was texting me and he told me he didn't like how they didn't have Charlotte tap out here, right? How they, you didn't have to have Charlotte tap out, but you could have Charlotte pass out, And now that I think about it, I agree with him on that. It would have been much better if they had Asuka make Charlotte, pass out. But still, this was a really good match. And I was actually very surprised that Asuka got the win. Where does this lead? This has to probably mean that Asuka will get one more opportunity against Rhea Ripley. The problem is, we've already seen Rhea Ripley beat Asuka numerous times. We've seen her beat her at WrestleMania. We saw Rhea pin Asuka last week on Raw. We then saw Rhea pin Asuka again last night at WrestleMania Backlash. So Rhea's already beaten Asuka basically 3 or 4 times here in the last month. So if indeed this means that Asuka's next in line to face Rhea again, why am I supposed to believe that Asuka's going to beat Rhea? I love Asuka. Love her. She's one of my favorites. After Sasha, Bianca, I probably have Asuka third in my favorite woman in the company. And then I'll probably have Bayley fourth, right? But there's nothing, you're not showing me anything that Asuka's going to win. I love Asuka. She's showing me more of that intensity that made her so good, right? And this match was great, right? It's just that I look at it and I'm just like, you haven't shown me anything that tells me that Asuka's going to beat Rhea, when Rhea's already pinned Asuka 3 out of 4 times in the last month. So, excuse me, we'll see where this goes. It's just really whatever to me, personally, but I would have rather just had Asuka make Charlotte pass out, in my opinion. So, Paul says Rhea shouldn't be allowed to pick up a microphone ever again. If JD says the backlash review is there. It's not. It may not show up like on the page because it's processing. To find the backlash review, I'll tell you guys what you guys gotta do. When you search up my name, Fitzbook TV, you gotta just scroll down and it'll come up. It's not gonna appear on the channel page because it's still processing, but the review is there. If you search up my name in the search bar and you just you scroll down, it'll come up. And if you just search up WrestleMania Backlash review, it'll be there with all the other podcasters. It's just not going to show up on my page because it's technically still processing, but it's there. So yeah, for people, if you're looking for the Backlash review, it's there.
And granddad were
It's
born.
there. Yeah, it's here. And no matter what, we don't know where Sasha is, right? We don't know. Yeah, see, I just played part of it. So the Backlash review is there. You gotta search up my name. What? So, yeah. So, Paul. Back to what was Paul saying? Paul said Rhea should never be allowed to pick. Rhea shouldn't be allowed to pick up a microphone ever again. Hey man, the less she speaks on the microphone, the better. If she's gonna speak, she gotta be quick and to the point. She doesn't need to be doing these long-winded promos. You know, at least tonight Rhea sounded a little bit better, a little more confident to me. All right. Yo, Paul, get the hell out of here. The opportunity got screwed again. No one gives a shit about Charlotte, bro. Shut up. But I do agree, man. You know, roll-ups, WWE does have a tendency to force it with the roll-ups. You know, they could have just had Charlotte pass out, right? Edward, I don't care, man. We don't care. Charlotte needs a whole new character and a new theme. I don't even think that would be enough to get me to care about Charlotte. She's still the same wrestler at the end of the day. Like, I'm done. Like, they're never gonna change Charlotte. She's Ric Flair's daughter. If they haven't changed it in the first 6 years, why would they change it now? You know what I mean? Whoa. Hold up. JD, whoa. Do not compare Charlotte Flair and Android 18. Android 18... Oh, are you doing that to Rhea Ripley? Okay. Android 18 is one of my favorite characters from Dragon Ball. I love Android 18. She might be... after maybe like Khalifa or Kefla, I don't know. She might be my favorite female character from that show. I love Android 18. All right? Come on. Let's not disrespect 18. But anyway, I don't know where this goes. You know what I mean? Like, if it's Asuka and Ripley again, I'm like, I don't really want to see that because I don't want to see Asuka lose. I'd rather Ripley just face somebody that's not named Asuka or Charlotte. Okay, you know, have Asuka have a fresh feud. Imagine if when Eva Marie actually debuts, we actually get Eva Marie versus Rhea Ripley. Kill me. I said this last night. If Charlotte ends up burying Rhea Ripley and becoming the 13-time champion, and we get a Charlotte Flair versus Eva Marie feud, I'm not reviewing that. I'm not. Dude, I'm not putting myself through that garbage. I'm just not gonna watch. Imagine putting me through a Charlotte Flair and Eva Marie feud. That's torture. I don't deserve that. I'm a good person. All right? Yo, Paul, you know what? If 18 was to ever get in the ring with Charlotte Flair, Android 18 would do what she did to Vegeta and DBZ. Break, and I would laugh, and I would enjoy every second of it. Seeing Android 18 break both of Rhea's arms. Fuck out of here with that nonsense. But damn, yeah. The thought of a Charlotte and Eva Marie match, man. Absolute torture. I don't deserve that. I consider myself a good person. Come on. So next up, we got what? We'll see. Well, we'll see what happens with Rhea Ripley. But like I said, I would have Rhea Ripley face somebody new. I don't know who. Like, I don't know. Give me Rhea Ripley and Naomi. Or Rhea Ripley and Shayna Baszler. Those are two right there. Give me that. You know? But we'll see what happens. But yeah, if I had to pick two new challengers for Rhea Ripley, it would be Naomi or Shayna Baszler for me. But next up, we had Damien Priest versus John Morrison, right? There was no Miz because last night the Miz fell victim to becoming a member of The Walking Dead. You guys saw back last night we had the lumberjack match with the Miz and Damien Priest, and the lumberjacks ended up being zombies. Don't know what WWE was thinking, but yeah, that's what happened here. So then Miz got devoured after the match in what was a very cringe looking spot. Very, very cringe worthy. And then they had these lumberjacks, basically grabbing at the air, pretending like Miz was getting devoured. And Miz didn't show up tonight. If Miz had showed up tonight, I know it's scripted or whatever, that would have been laughable. I thought there was a chance Miz would show up as the Walking Dead themselves. I thought Miz was going to show up as a zombie. I really thought that's what was going to happen. They were going to do some nonsense like that. But Miz did not show up. Morrison said he hadn't been able to contact Miz all day, and that he was concerned for his best friend and hoped that he was all right. So then we got the lumberjack match here, and, we actually had lumberjacks. Nikki Cross. I laughed when I saw Nikki Cross outside the ring. Nikki Cross was the only woman among the lumberjack, and she actually played a role in the match. So there was a part of the match where Priest nailed Johnny Drip Drip with a few kicks that knocked him out the ring, and all of a sudden Nikki Cross set him back in the ring, and then she started beating her chest while unzipping her vest, rhyming accidentally, So, it was good to see Nikki Cross having some fun, but I would love to see Nikki Cross back in the ring. I feel like she's somebody that you could use in that women's division, right? What if you built up Nikki Cross for a match for Rhea Ripley? I don't know. I feel like that wouldn't be all that bad. I don't know if Rhea Ripley and Nikki Cross ever faced in NXT, but, I just wish we would have NXT Nikki Cross back. I miss her. I do miss NXT Nikki Cross. So it was kind of good seeing her, seeing her there tonight, but I just wish that we would use her a little more seriously. But there was a point in this match where Morrison started doing parkour. Morrison had Ultra Instinct here for a sec. He was dodging all of the lumberjacks on ringside. I'm not gonna lie, it looked pretty impressive. He did some flips over the barricade, showing off his flexibility. It looked pretty cool. He was dodging the lumberjacks left and right. All of a sudden, then we saw Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. They started fighting, so the lumberjacks are fighting against each other. Then Damien Priest did a superplex. He superplexed Morrison from the top rope onto all of the lumberjacks at ringside, and then Priest did the hit the lights finisher for the win, while the lumberjacks continued to go at it. So this wasn't awful. It was just whatever. It was pretty skippable, right? So then Priest cut a promo after the match and how he was looking at potentially, answering the open challenge. So it looks like they're finally moving Priest on to something else. And like I said, if I'm WWE, SummerSlam, I would do Damien Priest versus Sheamus for the United States Championship. I feel like that would be perfect for Damien Priest. Perfect. Priest looks more and more like a star each week. I love Damien Priest, and I'm kind of glad that this Miz Morrison thing is over. Finally. It's been going on for about 3 months now, and finally it looks like they've wrapped that up, right? So after the match, Cedric cut a... Wait, what? Paul says Drew McIntyre just called himself Big D on Twitter. What does that mean? What does that mean? Was it an accident? Was a Let me see. Let me go to McIntyre's Oh, I see it. Big D is always there for the lads. Congrats at Kofi. Drew Day rocks. Oh, I get it. All right. Big D is always there for the lads. So he Big Drew, Big D. But I get it. Big D is... That's kind of funny. Okay, McIntyre. I see you. Wait, what do you guys talk about? You know, what do you guys talk about? Maybe they did that. Roy Nation says maybe they did that to write Miz off TV. Look, who cares? I don't really care about the Miz that much. He's a future Hall of Famer, sure, but I don't care. That's just me being honest, right? JD says, just be glad you're free to say whatever you want, unlike me, because I'm a competitive fighter gamer on the team. Hey, it is what it is. Everyone lives different lives. You know, I say whatever I want, but I'm also very careful not to go overboard with what I say. All right, every once in a while I may say something, but, you know. Let me see. What else you guys saying? You guys are talking about Charlotte. I've already said what I need to say about Charlotte's overrated ass, right? You know, it's whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. But yes, so Cedric, that's what we were talking about. So after the match, Cedric confronted Shelton Benjamin backstage. So it looks like this feud's technically not over yet. Let me see if I can find that promo. I'll play that for you guys.
If you're doing online meetings, you have to try Crisp. With the magic of a click. Nope.
Shelton, last week on Raw, you defeated your former friend, Cedric Alexander, and seemingly ended that relationship and that...
We're not doing that. I'm not going to waste precious time talking about that loudmouth ingrate Cedric Alexander. I'm here to talk about more important matters. I'm here to talk about me challenging Bobby Lashley for that WWE Championship tonight. All right? You just don't enjoy chewing, do you?
Hey, look, I'm not here for a fight. I'm just here to give you a nice round of applause for finally having the guts to challenge Bobby Lashley. Because in your own mind, you seem to be a legend, huh?
In your mind.
Okay, I see how that is. See, you think just because you got a fluke win over me last week that makes you something, that means you can challenge Bobby Lashley? Sheldon, I want you to remember something. There's a reason why everyone around you ends up abandoning you. You always are, and always will be, worthless.
And we see Benjamin knock Alexander down, and that was the end of the segment. So we'll see if this continues. You know, it is what it is. It is what it is. And then, let me see. Am I missing something? Last but not least, we had the open challenge, which I already mainly talked about for the most part. But, so, basically, Lashley came out to the ring, and Kofi Kingston was the one that came up. Lashley looked a little disappointed that it was Kingston who answered his challenge, but I wasn't, because Kofi Kingston, like I said in the opening shoot, Kofi Kingston deserves to be in the main event scene. This is what I wanted. I pitched this. And I'm happy that we're actually getting it. I am. I really am, actually. Right? So, before the referee could ring the bell, MVP said that he never declared that this would be for the title, so it became a non-title belt. Remember, Kingston had also just wrestled Randy Orton earlier in the show, so there was no way he was at 100%. Kingston was able to get a few cheap shots in before the bell, but Lashley hit a huge slam right away for a close 2 count. Then Kofi hit a couple of kicks to knock the champ out of the ring. We come back from break. Lashley was controlling the pace. Kingston countered a sloppy attempt at something else into a DDT to get a 2 count. Woods started playing the trombone to distract Lashley and allowed Kingston to take him down on the apron. So I can understand, yes, we don't need Woods always doing that trombone gimmick. He's been doing it now for way too many years, right? Like, come on, Woods. It's 2021. It's not 2016. You don't need the trombone every single time. It's kind of, lost its flavor in a way. Lashley countered the SOS with a huge slam. He ran Kingston into the ring post before rolling him back into the ring. But then, out of nowhere, Xavier Woods got thrown out by the referee. And then, when it looked like MVP was about to hit Kingston, with a cane, right? McIntyre came out of nowhere and hit Lashley with MVP cane, and that allowed Kingston to roll up Lashley because the ref was distracted to get the win. McIntyre celebrated with Kofi and Xavier to end the show. So clearly, this is probably going to lead to a WWE Championship match for Kofi Kingston. If it was my guess, we'll probably get this match before Hell in a Cell, because I think Lashley and McIntyre is going to be inside Hell in a Cell. That's my prediction for right now. But we'll just have to wait and see how that all goes, right? But I'm just more happy that Kingston's back in the main event scene where he belongs. As long as they treat him a little more seriously. Like I said, have Kingston act like, present Kingston the same way you would present Big E. You can do a little bit of comedy because that's just naturally how Kingston is. He's naturally funny, but you don't have to do the all gyrating, the freaking pancakes, all that. We don't need that. Right? If you're going to have Kingston back in the main event scene, have him being more serious. We know he can deliver it on the mic. We know he can deliver it in the ring. We just can't have him always being that New Day Kingston. No, we don't need that. We need serious guys. You have a guy as serious as Bobby Lashley, you need Kingston to be just as serious, if not even more serious. Especially because he's going to be an underdog in any situation with Bobby Lashley. All right? There's a little bit of a clip here from Kingston on Raw Talk after the match. So let's see what Kingston had to say before we get out of here. We end the podcast for tonight.
Are you telling me that you're going to become two-time?
Hey, look, that's...
Say it right.
Come on, man.
Yeah, you got to say it. Truth.
And get the hips ready.
Come on,
what I'm saying?
truth.
Now, me, I'm not one to count chickens before they hatch, and I didn't like how you had my seat lower than yours when I came out here. So I put the seat up. I put the seat up because I'm all the way up on the mountaintop tonight. So I put the seat up. I put the seat up because I'm all the way up on the mountaintop today. You know what I'm saying, Truth? I'm on the top of the mountain. You know what I'm saying, Truth? You understand? But yes, man, when you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, okay? That's why you always stay in the game. You never know when you're going to get your shot. When you come up to the plate, they throw that ball.
Babe Ruth it.
Back. Oh,
Gone.
Hey, Woodsy, how proud are you tonight?
Very proud, man.
Listen
to it.
Very proud.
435 feet. I want you to see the ball. And then,
Screaming.
That's a car alarm. Because the ball was a home run over the fence and it hit a car.
And broke the wind.
Car alarm. Because the ball was a home run over the fence and it hit a car.
And broke the window.
And broke the window.
And broke the window.
That was your risk.
What kind of car was it?
You shouldn't have parked by the stadium.
What kind of car was it?
Who cares?
Come on.
It's not mine.
And the thing is, y'all got
It's
these
not my
questions.
car.
Y'all got
Is it
these
your
questions.
car?
Kofi's been doing this.
But
I was going to ask you, how proud are you?
Hold on,
He's been
hold on,
multiple
KPZ.
people
Hold on,
since
KPZ.
he's been here. This is not new. This is not something that Kofi's just found that he can do. He's been crushing this. He's been rolling through people night after night after night. How many people you want him to face? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He'll beat them all. That's why Kofi Kingston will stand on the top of the mountain.
Stand up on top of it. Stand up on top of it. Get up there.
Yeah.
Like it's a mountain.
Stand with the dag nabbit.
Jumpsuit.
Find me something else.
If you like a jumpsuit like this.
We ain't done yet. Turn the music up. We ain't done yet. We still talking.
Baby.
We got budget. Cause we got
This is not our own network. Who
got the pair of budget? We on budget,
They
man.
complain to let them to kill. What?
Bow. We got a budget, man.
Kofi Kingston.
We got a budget to do.
WWE Championship.
We're gonna have to go, y'all.
Yeah, you're gonna cool them off.
But we're gonna have to go.
I'm gonna be in a lot of pain. I feel like I got hit by a Mack truck. And somehow I survived, you know, and the adrenaline's gonna wear off. I'm gonna be in a lot of pain tonight. But for right now, we're doing it, we feeling it, and I'll say it one more time.
Say it.
Hey, where's the red light? Right here?
It's right there.
You see
red.
it?
Zoom in on it.
Kofi Kingston just pinned the WWE Champion, baby.
Bro, you showing out.
Look at it.
You bathing, dog.
Okay, I don't know what he's doing.
can't do that on
And
Raw,
soon,
man.
soon,
We can't have no
he
vulgarism.
shall be your new W.
That's vulgar, dog.
World Heavyweight
That's enough.
Go!
That's enough, dog.
Let's go!
You guys
go.
are going too far.
Okay, I'll say this. Look, Kofi and Xavier are entertaining, but that's the part that people get annoyed by, right? If we're going to have Kofi in the main event scene again, you got to chill with the gyrating. That was a little too much. Little too much with them gyrating on the dance and all, on the desk and all that. It's funny, but I need Kofi to be a little more serious, man, because remember, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Brock Lesnar if he comes back. These are the kind of guys you're competing with. You can't be over here messing with pancakes and all that. That's all I'm going to say, right? You know, that was a funny clip to watch, but I want, you know, Kofi to be presented seriously, especially if he's going to be getting a push back into the main event scene and a future WWE title opportunity against Bobby Lashley potentially. So that's my thoughts on that. But I am so happy that Kofi's back in the main event scene because that is where he belongs. So I'm going to take one last look into the chat before we get out of here. So, like, what do you guys talk about? You guys talk about Roman. You guys are talking about people on Twitter, bro? Really? Really? You guys should know, like, come on. You guys should know how to deal with that social media stuff. Come on. Like I said, man, Roman should have been healed 2-3 years ago. I hated Roman as a babyface. I hated him because he was stuffed down our throats. This is the Roman we should have ever got. I'm a huge Roman Reigns fan now because of this Roman we're getting. I was never a Roman Reigns fan when he was a babyface. Now with this Roman, I can't get enough of him. He's absolutely incredible. You're talking about Sasha and Charlotte again. JD, I'm not going to entertain that because I don't care about Sasha and Charlotte. I don't want to see that feud anytime. They're not even on the same brand. So, no, sorry. No, I'm not even, no, ignoring that. Don't believe you mentioned that. What else was said? You guys are still talking about Sasha and Charlotte, bro. What the hell? Heel Becky versus Sasha at WrestleMania. I'll take that. You know, I don't know if we'll get there, but if Becky Lynch comes back as a heel, beats Bianca for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and then we get a build-up with Sasha taking that title from Becky at WrestleMania, I'm all for that. That would be incredible. I would love that. I would love to see a heel Becky Lynch as the man now, you know? But we'll see what happens when Becky eventually comes back. Becky, Bianca, Bayley, or Charlotte, but honestly not Charlotte or Trish. Whatever. Okay, all right. Man, like Kofi, that's what I'm saying. Paul, that's what I'm saying. Main event Kofi is back. That's why that's the title of tonight's review. Main event Kofi is back. I love it. Kofi needs a heel turn. No, he doesn't. Kofi doesn't. Look, heel Kofi, I don't even know how to... Even though we've seen the New Day as heels back in 2014, 2015, right? Kofi's more natural and more enjoyable as a babyface. You know, it would be hard for me to get behind a heel Kofi. You know, his personality is just, his personality is, the only person in the New Day that would make sense to me as a heel is probably Big E. Kofi and Xavier, they're just meant to be babyfaces. I just need them to be more serious. That's all. MA YouTube says Roman should have turned heel in 2016. I would have turned him. Yes, that's what I said. The best time to turn Roman heel should have been right in 2017 after he beat The Undertaker. Or you could have done it right after he beat John Cena. You had two prime opportunities to do it. Right? Because once Roman announced that he had leukemia, right, it was going to be hard to ever turn Roman heel. The fact that they were able to make it work with COVID and everything like that, you know, I was very surprised that they made it work the way they did. But look, I guess you could say the buildup of Roman being babyface for all those years to leading to where he is now, it all worked out. And one day when Roman retires, we'll look back at Roman's babyface run and how it led to this epic heel run that he is now on. This is one of the best heel runs we've ever seen. It's that good. Roman as a heel right now is that good. But, I just wish he was turned heel sooner because I complained about it for years. I was one of the biggest advocates for Roman being a heel for years on this podcast, right? Back when we only had about 2 or 3 listeners, right? Edward says Sasha versus Bayley versus Charlotte at WrestleMania 38. I'm not against the 4 horsewoman match at Mania. It's gonna happen. It probably will happen eventually, as long as Sasha wins. That's the only way I would accept that match happening. But yeah. But yeah, Sasha needs a singles win first. And people are crazy if they want a four-way with. Well, I don't think they would have. I don't think they would do a 4-way with no title. I don't think they would ever do a 4-way with no title, right? But I don't know. I will cross that bridge if we ever get there first. We don't know. People complain about the 4 horsewomen. Look, I don't care about Charlotte. I'm only mentioning her because she's part of the 4 horsewomen. But you guys got to realize none of the 4 horsewomen right now are champions. Sasha just put over Bianca at Mania. Becky's still out. Charlotte is, she's feuding with Rhea. We'll see where that goes. And Bayley just put over Bianca again at Backlash. And Bayley may put over Bianca again here in the next couple weeks. So people saying the 4 horsewomen are overpushed. They're not even I guess sometimes you can complain about it, but saying that right now, it doesn't really make sense. Because the 4 horsewomen, they're not even none of the 4 horsewomen are even, they're champions right now. Only one of them's in the title picture. Or no, actually I'm wrong. 2 of them are in the title picture, but you guys get the point I'm trying to make. Paul says Kofi doesn't really have the look for a badass babyface. He's more of a... Yes, Paul, I agree. Kofi doesn't need to be a badass babyface. When I think of a badass babyface, I think of Sasha Banks. I think of Drew McIntyre back at the beginning of his WWE Championship run. I think of Keith Lee in NXT. Those are people I look at as badass babyfaces. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin is the definition of a badass babyface. Even though for most people he was more of a tweener, but at the heart, Stone Cold was a badass babyface, right? Kofi's an underdog babyface. The only thing with Kofi is you just need to present him seriously. Anybody can be an underdog, right? It's just that if you're gonna have Kofi back in the main event scene, he needs to be presented seriously. That is all, right? But yeah. Well, NBA YouTube, Roman's been the face of the company for years. The reason why people never accepted Roman as the face of the company is because he was booked poorly as a baby. Or not booked poorly. He was shoved down people's throats as a babyface because people want him to be the next John Cena. If they had just allowed Roman to be himself and bring this character to the table, right, then it would have been a problem. Roman said it in the interview with that clown Ryan Satin. Roman said that Seth should have been the babyface from the Shield, but instead they turned Seth heel and Roman and Dean were the babyfaces. Dean was fine as a babyface. Dean was great as a babyface, right? The problem was Roman was shoved down our throats so quickly, especially once Seth got injured, that it was just like it got terrible. And Seth's great as a babyface. It's just that they ruined him with what they did with him losing the title to Lesnar when Lesnar won Money in the Bank a couple years ago, and then what happened with The Fiend at Hell in a Cell. But if they turn Seth back into a babyface later this year, I don't think that anybody's going to have a problem with it. Seth's more natural as a babyface, and Roman's more natural as a heel. It's really that simple. Roman's been the face of the company. It's just that they did a terrible job of promoting him as the face of the company, because all they did was keep stuffing him down our throats when we didn't want him to become the next John Cena. If Roman was this character a couple years ago, who knows how better his legacy, how much better his legacy would look. Because this run right now that Roman is on is going to put him in the conversation for one of the all-time great champions. It's not, I don't think he'll ever be seen as better as The Rock or Cena or Stone Cold or, you know, or HBK and The Undertaker, but at least he'll be in that conversation. You know? But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. But in that, guys, I'm going to end the review here. Man, you know, thanks for all the engagement in the chat tonight. Thank you guys for all the support as always. You know, good talk. You know, look, Raw wasn't awful tonight. It wasn't awful. But, you know, I really enjoyed the Asuka and Charlotte match. The Ricochet and Sheamus match was probably the best thing on the card. And I'm happy that Kofi appears at the moment that Kofi's back in the main event scene. We'll see how long this lasts, and we'll see where it goes. But other than that, guys, that's about all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. We almost went 2 hours again. So definitely, man, I am giving you guys a bunch of podcast content, man. This is like I said, this was my second review, my second stream in you know, less than 24 hours. So hopefully you guys enjoyed all of that. And if you guys did, make sure to slap a like on the video. Make sure to subscribe if you guys are new to the channel by hitting the bell next to my name, FitzMonkTV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Man, like I said, follow me down on social media. The links are in the description down below. Other than that, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to get some sleep. You guys stay safe and healthy. I'll have some other content for you guys. You know, anime stuff. We got some My Hero Academia videos coming out. We have a new Dragon Ball Super chapter coming out on Thursday. We'll probably have spoilers for that either tomorrow or Wednesday. But yeah, Dragon Ball Super spoilers. So make sure you guys watch out for that for my anime people. But I'll see you guys later, man. Until then, have a great night, guys. Peace.